Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sunday Night Live. A little bit later than planned, but we were having minor technical issues behind the scene. Good evening, Rabbi Eisenberg. How are you doing this week?
Yes, good evening. How are you? Nice to be together again.
Yes, I got bumped off the last week's slot, but you did have a much better guest than me, the chief rabbi.
You're not a guest.
I'm gonna let that go. And we are joined, of course, by our old friend Neville Goldschneider, Chief Executive of Camp Simcha, who is bang in the middle of a 36-hour campaign to raise vital funds for his charity. Good evening, Neville.
Good evening, David. Good evening, Rabbi Eisenberg. Hi.
Hi there. Hi.
Neville, we're going to ask you one or two questions. Do you mind if I play the video which is, you know, we've all been watching today, but I just think it sort of summarizes very aptly what your organization's doing and why those funds are needed. So I'm just going to pop that on.
Thank you.
For 25 years, Camp Simcha has been a lifeline to seriously ill children and their families, providing practical and therapeutic support, bringing hope at the darkest of times.
Never has that been more crucial than during COVID-19, which sent families like mine deeper into crisis.
The day your child is diagnosed with a serious illness is the day everything changes.
Camp Simcha brings strength and joy back to families facing the unbearable. Walk in the journey with us, every step of the way.
For children with over 50 different medical conditions, including cancer, genetic illnesses, premature babies, and mental health conditions.
They provide 23 different services, including family support, respite care, hospital transport, crisis household support, therapeutic arts sessions, counselling, sibling support, parties and outings, and residential retreats.
But Camp Simcha are so much more than a list of services. They are a family of support. They are a lifeline, here for parents any time of day or night, enabling us to cope.
They are also about the little things that make a difference. From a hot meal sent in after a grueling hospital stay, to a visit from your family liaison officer when you need a shoulder to cry on, or a treat to lift a child after a difficult treatment.
No other charity does what they do for Jewish families with a seriously ill child.
It costs Camp Simcha nearly £2.4 million annually to provide critical support to over 1,200 family members and another 12,000 children through hospital outreach. We're their lifeline. You're ours.
There you have it. Always very moving to watch the people that you're helping speak in their own voice. Neville, how's the campaign going?
Well, frankly, David, I'm not often short for words, but I really am today. It's just been probably one of the most incredible days in my history of Camp Simcha, other than on the services side of what we do. On the fundraising side, it's just been incredible. We've had 500 team leaders out there around, not just around the country, we've had team leaders in other countries as well. Some of our families who have moved abroad and people who support us from abroad and so on. It's just been really, really astonishing. And we are just so humbled by how incredibly generous the community has been. And it's just been amazing. Really, as I say, you know me, David, I'm not normally short for words, but it really has been a very
You know what, Neville, I'm going to save you some breath, because better than your words, look at the comment that we've just received now from somebody that regularly watches the show. Good evening, Chava. Thanks for joining with us. Chava said, I could not have survived the last 2 years without Camp Simcha's support. And if you need a further flavour of how people feel about your organisation, Sharon Hood, Camp Simcha, a jewel in the community's crown. We all have pride in your awesome achievements. I've helped to fundraise many different organisations over the years, but never has there been one where you say Camp Simcha and people say unreservedly, absolutely yes. Because I think that having a sick child is something that resonates with every parent out there, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that there was a time where you'd say, people really thought that Camp Simcha, firstly, was a camp, and secondly, it was a camp for children with cancer. And I think now that the community have really seemed to understand that we are not only there for 50 different very serious medical conditions, but that we're there 24, certainly 6, if not 7 throughout the year. And, that for these families, it's just critical that we're there for them. Life is just awful for these families, and we're really able to make a difference, and that really matters.
I think the mistake probably comes from the Camp Simcha in America. My brother was a counselor at Camp Simcha 2 years in a row, and he said it was the most amazing experience he had, being able to help a sick child throughout those 2 weeks in camp. Because of that, I think they've just looked at Camp Simcha USA and sort of transported the idea to here, where Camp Simcha in the UK is something totally different.
The thing that I would explain, which I think is really a valuable thing, is that the reason why we got called Camp Simcha was because our founder, Mayor Plancy, took a child that he was very involved with when he was learning in Israel out to the camp in the Catskill Mountains. And he saw something very special there. He saw the fact that children suffer illness in a very different way to us adults. When we're ill, God forbid, we fret about what we know is coming or we believe to be coming. And there's a terrible amount of stress about that in our minds. Children don't do that because they don't have the life experience to do that. So children know it hurts now. Children know today is a horrible day. But you can really turn that around for children in really fun, dynamic, exciting ways. And Mayer saw in camp in America amazing ways that you could do that. And he set about, when he came back here, to provide all kinds of really fun and amazing ways to be able to do that for children. And then, of course, on top of that, if you're doing that kind of thing, of course, you have to be there for the really serious stuff as well, for supporting the rest of the family too.
And in terms of the North-South divide, Neville, there is no divide on this. It's interesting because I got contacted by somebody today and we were talking about Camp Simcha, and they said, they're very London-centric, aren't they? And I said, well, unfortunately, childhood diseases don't stop at the Watford Gap. But fortunately, neither does Camp Simcha either. And I know that you're supporting families here in Manchester. You're supporting families in Leeds and Liverpool, all over the Northwest. So it truly is a national organisation, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We will help all Jewish families wherever they are in the UK. And I think that we're very proud of the fact that we work very hard to develop our service in Manchester. We're not a centre-based organisation. There are no Camp Simcha centres. We come out to the family, and families often say, "Gosh, when we came to a central event, we didn't realise there were all those other families because we come to the family." So, in a sense, it doesn't matter to Camp Simcha where you are and where you live. We bring Camp Simcha to you. And as I say, so we don't have an office or anything in Manchester, but we do have a little team of a couple of family liaison officers and a development worker who does lots of the raising awareness and dealing with schools and that kind of thing, and hospitals and so on. And as a result of that, we're helping around 200, or supporting rather, around 200 family members every year in Manchester. And you've got to remember that's every single one of those families has a child with a very serious medical illness. Thank God, many of these conditions are very rare. So those kind of numbers are big. They're very, very significant. And, we work very, very hard to make sure that we raise our awareness so that people know that we're here and know to come for our support.
Can we give a shout out to the people that do work for you in Manchester? We might as well. They shouldn't be faceless, nameless people.
So Daniela Barclay is one of our family liaison officers, and Dalia Mechlowitz, they're our two family liaison officers. And Michelle Delou is our she outreaches for us. She develops our role in the community, if you like, working with schools and hospitals and all that kind of thing, a little bit of the fundraising work locally and so on. But also, the other thing I'd like to say at this point is I'd like to really pay homage to the committee of which David's involved, led by Candice Dueck and Daniel Hamburger and all the people on the committee who have worked tirelessly to be able to really project Camp Simcha out into the community. And of course, that obviously brings the money. The money is absolutely vital. But even more important than that, if one family who needs us as a result of all of this can find their way to us to get the help they need, then that's extremely powerful. It really is.
And that's excellent. And Daniel is watching, as many of us are tonight. And obviously this effort's ongoing. It's going to last through to tomorrow. Now, I understand that we can't give up because, yes, you have hit the target that you initially set for yourselves, but it just scrapes the surface in terms of what's needed for an organization like yourselves in order to keep the wheels turning. And unfortunately, it's something that's not going away, and there are sincere challenges for any charity trying to raise funds during COVID, because your usual fundraising activities and awareness campaigns are severely restricted, aren't they?
I mean, we set up this campaign at the time that we cancelled our Manchester dinner that was due to be in November. The last time we did that 2 years previously, we raised $250,000, 250,000. And at the same time, we had to cancel our London dinner, which would have been our 25th anniversary London dinner, which would have raised circa £2 million, and a ladies' lunch that would have raised around about 100,000. And all those events gone. Not possible to have them. And looking forward to the rest of this year, we're really not sure what fundraising we're going to be able to do at all. So these funds are really, really crucial to enable us to know that our services team can now go forward and really focus their attention on doing everything these families need. But even more importantly than that, David, any family that phones us that needs our help, that we can say yes. It's really, really important.
Well, I'm pleased to say that there are more than one family. There are many families in Shrubs that are supporting your efforts tonight. They're almost fighting over the donations tonight to get that money in. None other than our Life Vice President, Rodney Barclay, with us this evening. Rodney and Michelle's page, their link to their page should be scrolling across the bottom, but it's also there. I've also put a link to it on our Sunday Night Live page as well. But as ever, whichever link you use, it all goes to the same place, whether you choose to donate to Rodney or to Daniel or to anybody else. In fact, I'd encourage you all to donate several times to several people. Just keep it going.
David, do you have a page?
I also have a page as well, but you know what? I've spent most of the day encouraging people to go to other people's pages because as long as it goes to the right place, it's fantastic.
Right. And I'd just like to quickly thank Rodney and Michelle. Thank you so much for doing that. The Barclay name, of course, is very connected to Camp Simcha, as I explained, with Daniela, who does such an incredible job. And we really are extremely grateful to all of them for the role that they've played in this. Thank you.
Neville, we're extremely grateful for you taking a few moments out of your time. I know that you're bang in the middle of the campaign. I know that you'll be on the phones and you'll be talking to people. You've hit, thank God, you've hit 2.8 million in such a short amount of time. The campaign is still on, though, till tomorrow. Is that correct?
It finishes tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So really, please feel free. But we're not matching anymore now that we've run out of the pot, which was incredible. But really, please, every pound, every penny is so greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Well, Neville, thank you for joining us, and we wish you much hatzlacha with your work and your campaign. And maybe when all of the campaigning is over, you'll come back and talk to us at greater length about the work that you do, because I think it's of absolute vital importance.
Thank you. I'd be delighted to talk about some of the specific things that we do, because some of it is just, it's a stop. People are astonished when they hear about it. There isn't really the time now, of course, but happy to do that later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.